Good morning. Welcome to the Social Movements in the South Lecture Tour Series, The Promise of Diliman Square. To formally begin our lecture series today, I would like to call on the Director of the Third World Studies Center, Dr. Maria Ella Atienza.
Thank you, Dr. Planta. Dr. Mustafa Kamel Al-Sayed, our guest speaker for today and also for tomorrow's lecture, Professor Emeritus and former University of the Philippines President, Dr. Francisco Nimenso, colleagues and friends in academia and civil society, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. On behalf of the South-South Exchange Program for Research on the History of Development, or CEFIS, and our co-organizers for this forum, namely the Asian Regional Exchange for New Alternatives, ARENA Philippines, focused on the Global South, the UP Asian Center, the UP Department of History, the UP Department of Political Science, and the Philippine Political Science Association. Welcome to this year's installment of the CEFIS TWSC Social Movements in the South lecture series. This year's theme is The Promise of Tahrir Square. Today is the first day of the two-day lecture series. Most of you are already familiar with the UP Third World Studies Center and our activities, so I will not elaborate much on who we are and what we do. However, we are also conducting this particular activity as the beginning of our year-round series of public activities to commemorate the 35 years of the existence of the Third World Studies Center. The center, at that time called the Third World Studies Program, was formally established on February 5, 1977, and we are also glad that one of the people who was instrumental in the foundation of this center, Dr. Francisco Nimenso, is here with us as our reactor. At that time, he was Dean of, the College of Arts and Sciences. We developed the lecture series on social movements in the South to interrogate the relations of contention and collective action to democracy in contemporary history. It focuses on two key themes. One, national and cross-border mobilization in the South, and two, historical reflections and contemporary examination, Philippine social science movements in the 20th and 21st centuries. Specifically, the series hopes to address the following issues. First, the relationship between social movements and democratization. Second, the role of social movements in the wider global arena. Third, social movements' mode and strategies of engagement with the state and non-state actors. And fourth, trajectories of Southern social movements. We thank CEFIS for being our partner in this activity since 2009 through its lecture tour program. The idea of the lecture tour program was to establish connections between the different research traditions and networks in the South. This program enabled universities and scholars in the South to give a number of lectures at different institutes. The scholar who gives the lecture can meet colleagues and advanced students, give advice on academic programs, and explore possibilities for collaborative research. In December of 2009, TWSC and CEFIS were able to bring political scientist Dr. Evelina Dagnino of the University of Campinas, Brazil, to the University of the Philippines and Chulalongkorn University. In January last year, sociologist Dr. Ari Sitas of the University of Cape Town, South Africa, came to UP and the University of Indonesia for a series of lectures. For this year, we are fortunate that we have Dr. Mustafa Kamel Al-Sayed of the American University of Cairo to give lectures and interact with scholars, activists, and students in UP, and later this week, the University of Indonesia. However, this will also be the last time that we are partnering with CEFIS since it has officially closed as an organization as of December last year. So there is no longer CEFIS office in Amsterdam. They are already closing their books. This is one of the last activities that they have decided to support. So we hope we can continue with this lecture series in the future, perhaps with different partners. For the context of this year's lecture series, most of us are aware of the events that put Egypt in the global limelight last year. For most of the decades-long rule of Hosni Mubarak, majority of the Egyptian people were perceived to be politically inactive and lacking in a collective ambition to attain freedom. However, with the success of the Tunisians in toppling a dictator, a movement largely led and associated with young Egyptians who utilized new media largely toppled the regime. As we are all familiar with experiences after toppling a dictatorial regime, the harder work lies ahead. There are no clear indications about which group or groups will fill the vacuum and what type of system will clearly emerge. What role will social movements play in ensuring that a return to dictatorship will not occur? How will they push for solutions to traditional concerns like better wages and improved working conditions, as well as new social and political concerns? Will new social media continue to play a role in keeping government in check by the people? In this context, an exchange with activists and scholars from nations that went through similar people power upheavals may help Egyptian social movement actors to focus on ensuring that democracy is consolidated. Such a dialogue may also give social movement actors in states that underwent similar upheavals an alternative perspective to reassess their progress in state building and democratization. With this introduction, I would like to thank Dr. Mustafa Kamel Al-Sayed for coming all the way from Egypt for our lecture series, Dr. Nimenso for agreeing to be the reactor, our co-sponsors for all the support, and our audience who came despite many other ongoing activities in UP. And I know most of you will be focusing on what will happen this afternoon at the impeachment trial of the Chief Justice. Finally, I would like to thank the hardworking staff of the Third World Studies Center. All our activities will not come into, we cannot operationalize many of our activities without their able support. And I also look forward for a very informative discussion and open forum later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ella.